We turn our eyes to the heart of Washington, D.C., the National Mall. Everything is covered by a white blanket. The Washington Monument, almost lost under the power of the snowstorm, stands tall only by its height. A fierce storm wind sweeps everything away, with snowflakes falling in a tense dance, creating a dramatic look as they swirl in the air. Time feels like it has stopped. The dark sky, heavy with the storm, has turned ominous. The Potomac River, transformed into a frozen desert. The surface of the river is completely covered in ice, with visible cracks spreading like veins beneath. As we shift our gaze along the river, we see the slowly disappearing structures and frozen bridges. The storm continues to rage, blowing the snow away, and everything is enveloped in a mist of white. The sound of the ice cracking is the only thing we can hear, a reminder of the storm's power.
And here it is, the heart of America, the White House, now at the mercy of the ruthless cold of winter. It is buried beneath layers of snow, almost disappearing under the weight of ice and frost. In the once lively streets, only the wind's howling is heard, as the storm blankets everything. The once proud exterior of the White House is now covered in an icy shell, standing as a ghost of its former self. The Lincoln Memorial, once a place of reverence for people, now stands as a cold and desolate monument. The white marble is covered in thick frost and ice. The reflecting pool in front is frozen, with cracks stretching across its surface, as if the storm's cruelty has left its mark. The only sound is the wind howling, the soft cracking of ice, and the occasional break in the silence by the fierce storm. Washington's streets are trapped under the snowstorm. Roads, cars, shops, everything is buried. Abandoned structures and half-submerged vehicles are all that remain. What was once a bustling city is now a ghost town, consumed by the relentless storm. The streets are empty, the air thick with the cold stillness of the aftermath. The symbol of America, the U.S. Capitol, stands frozen, its dome encrusted with layers of frost and ice. The snow and cold have taken over every inch of its structure, covering the columns and roof in thick layers of ice. The storm has overwhelmed everything, and the Capitol now looms as a frozen monument in a land trapped by winter. The wind howls through the air, but the building stands still, a lonely sentinel in the storm. The metro entrance, once a bustling entry point to the heart of the city, is now completely buried under snow. The stairs are blocked, the metal structure frozen with layers of ice. The storm continues to rage, the snow swirling around, making it impossible to pass. The entrance is nothing but an icy reminder of the city's abandoned state. The place feels empty, lifeless. The Washington Monument stands tall, but now it is a massive tower of ice. Its iconic structure is covered in layers of snow and ice, with enormous icicles hanging from the edges. The storm rages around it, snow swirling furiously in the air, reducing visibility. Flashes of lightning briefly illuminate the frozen silhouette of the monument, casting eerie shadows across the scene. The cold is unrelenting, the monument standing alone in the blizzard. The bridges over the Potomac are now an icy crossing, frozen solid. The metal railings are covered in ice, and snow piles up around the structure, making it unrecognizable. The river beneath is frozen, its surface cracked and still. The storm continues to howl as snow swirls around the bridges, reducing visibility. The once vital connections are now cold and desolate, abandoned under the fury of nature's power. And finally, Capitol Hill, covered in snow, stands silently. The Capitol building is enveloped in ice and snow, its steps buried, its columns frozen. The landscape is desolate, and the once proud structure now looks like a relic from a time long past. The wind howls through the streets, but there is no life here, only the haunting silence of a city in isolation. The storm presses down, and everything is swallowed by the endless white.